Alright guys, welcome back for another video of me getting new wheels on my bike. Today I'm going to be swapping this brown King headset out for a, hold on, I don't see, a gold King headset to match my gold hubs that I'm putting on. So I'm going to put the headset in, take this one out, and then put wheels on, and I'll show you guys how I do all of that, working as a blind bicycle mechanic. And a little bit of it's going to be guesswork as far as lining up the King logo, but we'll see how good we get. Alright, so let's get going. Big believer in these Y wrenches because they're real easy for me, because I've got three sizes on here, a 4, 5, and a 6, which are the most common. So they're just easy for me to not fumble looking around for different Allen wrenches. So I'm going to put the brown over here so I don't mix it up. And luckily, since I'm going from one King to another, I don't have to remove the race on the fork, but I do have to remove the headset. So what I'm going to do is grab my race removing tool. Let me find a hammer in here. Old busted up hammer. I need to buy a new hammer really bad. Actually, I need to get this one warranted. See, I slip sometimes and hit my own thumb. So there's one out. Fortunately, my frame is kind of falling apart. I might be able to pull this bottom one out by hand, which I can. I love this frame, but it's dying on me. So the next step is, I'm gonna find a rag here, wipe out some of this old grease. And we will put in some new fresh grease. Once I find out where I put my grease. So I just put some grease in. A lot of this might seem a little complicated to not be able to do with sight, or without sight I should say. But I've been doing it so long, it doesn't affect me too much. So since my bottom race goes right in, I'm just going to feel on this for the etching, the engraving of the King logo. And I kind of have it lined up where I want it. I'll have my thumb on it. And since this is worn out on the bottom, I'm just going to hand press it in. Hopefully straight. Yeah, my frame is not doing well, unfortunately. Now for this top one, it's much tighter. I'm going to have to press it in. Grab my trusty headset press here. Let's see. Oh, dropping stuff. That's okay. Sit that in there, just like that. We'll put this on. And let's see if we can line this one up. We'll see if it's straight. So what we're going to do is just press, 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 press. Turn it till it's comfortably tight. Make sure we have it all the way in, which it looks like we do. And the piece I dropped was the other part of the headset press. I'll have to find that later. Now, what I'm going to do is Grab my top brace, get my fork off from dangling here. So we're going to put, since the bottom brace is the exact same on these King headsets, no need to change it. We're going to press that on by hand, and some of these are really tight. Turn that going on. I don't know if this is one of the ones that separates or not. It's not. It's an old one. We're almost going. Oh, it does separate. Now I've lost half my race. Cool. Let me see if I can find that. I'm back. Found it, found it, found it. Apparently this one does separate. I did not realize. So now we got that back together. Grab some of these headset spacers that I had here. Had 2 of them. Put that down. And let's figure out which way these bars go. Those look good. Alright, now the next step is to put the top cap in. Now you would think you'd need a lot of sight for some of this stuff, but not so much. This is pretty easy stuff here. The hard part for me, at least, is lining up the stem to make the fork straight. So what I'm going to do is put in this front wheel, which is already assembled with a inspired rim. I'm hoping to find a silver 32-hole drilled out Trials competition rim instead of the Street Trials rim, but there are no silver ones to match the rear anywhere. So the wheel I just built up, I wish I could have a matching front, but unfortunately I can't. So I just got to deal with this, which is already was off of another bike that I had a while ago that I no longer have. And luckily it's a King, taking off one King wheel for another, so all the brakes and everything should line up. So hopefully I won't have to adjust too much here. Now the way I adjust stems is I do this feel thing where it's a little bit easier when I'm on the ground, but I try and feel the positioning of the fork and the positioning of the wheel. I mean the stem and the positioning of the wheel. And see if they feel lined up. Which I feel like that one's pretty close. I'm going to leave it there and we'll see how bad it is when I get done with this. So now that the headset's on and adjusted, we're just going to tighten up this stem. Let's see. Ooh, I might have to readjust the brake. It is rubbing pretty bad, but it might have been rubbing that bad before. Let's just make sure this wheel's in straight. Yep. Alright, we'll have to readjust that. But the next step is, let's move this out of the way. My next step is to get this tire on this wheel to match for the rear. I also have to put on this rim strip that's a little beat up and old. Here, it's seen better days. It's been taped and everything else, so that's funny. Thing is beat. So what I like to do is find the valve hole. Alright. Find my valve hole, use this wire wrench for everything. Put the valve, a wire wrench through the valve hole, through the rim strip and the valve, and just kind of stretch on the rim strip while keeping the valve lined up. So now that we have that on there, figure out which direction the wheel is rolling. So now I've turned it so it's rolling forward. And I like to run my trails tire on my back backwards. I find that I hold on to ledges a little bit better. Not everyone does it. A lot of people aren't doing it as much as they used to. But that's what I like. So what I will do is I will put this, actually let's not put the tube in. Put the tire halfway on to start. Like that. Grab our tube. And put it through our valve hole. And tuck this all the way up in there. Working our way around. And then just kind of seat it on. Actually, we're not going to put air in it right now. Let me switch camera angles so we can I can show you how I put the rear wheel on and get my chain tensioner set up. So we'll be back in just a second. Alright, we're back at a different angle. Now we're working on the rear part of the bike. Got the wheel with the tire on, did the service on the hub. So now I'm just going to be pushing this in. It's not too complicated, but it kind of is. Gets a little bit more complicated when you can't see. So first I start by grabbing the chain and putting it over the cog and squeeze my tire between the brake pads. That's why I didn't put air in it. So I'm going to pop this up in here, which this frame is very tight for this. There we go. Grab my 8mm. So we got that in. Tighten that down. And then we'll tighten the other side down. And then what I'm going to do is check with my fingers. So what I do is I take my fingers here, get my chain out of the way, and just kind of seat my fingers between the frame through the chain stays and the seat stays to measure whether my wheel's straight or not, because I can't see. It's the only way I can see is with my hands. So getting wheels straight is definitely a big thing. Well, luckily this wheel's set up pretty straight pretty easily. So the next piece of the puzzle is trying to get this chain tensioner back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off of the cog and then start threading it in to the dropout or to the derailleur hanger here. Loosely. And then what I'll do is I will put this chain back on the cog to get that lined up. I just kind of pulled it on. Now I don't have it on my chain ring, so I got to pop that on. So I'm going to hold it by hand. I'm going to put it on the bottom and back it. Now it's on. Just make sure the brake works. Brakes lined up perfectly. Put some air in these tires real quick. Grab a pump here. Find my valve. Ooh, came right across that one. That's nice. Usually I'm searching for a valve for a while. Let's put some air in. I don't need too much. Make sure the tire doesn't hit anywhere. Run my fingers around the bead. Make sure it's not popping off anywhere. I want to blow a tire off the rim. And I don't look at pressure gauges. I do everything by feel because I can't use a pressure gauge anyways. But it doesn't really matter because the pressure gauge on this is broken. There's a free pump because it was getting thrown away because the pressure gauge was broken. So I kept it because I was like, can't see it anyways. Look at that, it's running smooth. It's seated. Let me throw some air in the front. You guys this will be out of frame. I got to get that front brake adjusted. Although I don't know if I can because it's a direct mount IS old caliper, not a post mount. So I don't know if I have any brake shims, but it was working before with the same hub in a different color. So I'd be surprised if it's not gonna line up. I might just reset the pistons and see. I got air in the tires. Both brakes feel good. Front one's rubbing. But that's pretty much it. I'll fiddle around with that brake, but you guys have seen me adjust a Hope brake before, so I'm not going to bore you with it. I think I'm in frame. I'm not sure. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is my bike now. Black with gold. So, and a silver rim. But if anyone knows where I can find a 32-hole drilled out front trials rim, 26-inch, that's silver to match this rear one, so I can have a matching wheel set, that would be awesome. So if you guys know anything, let me know. Alright, I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular that I haven't done yet. I'm going to start showing some more stuff beyond bikes coming up here shortly. Well, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.